Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today in this video, I'll be discussing about how to perform upgrade of a vCenter server with an embedded platform service controller from 6.7 to 7.4. To start with, VMware always supports upgrade path of n minus 2. So let's say if now the current version is 7.4, so you can upgrade from below two versions, that is from 6.5 or from 6.7 you can upgrade to 7.4. Before start of the upgrade, we should know what are the best practices, how and let's say if your infrastructure has multiple VMware products or any other products that are being attached to the vCenter server, you should know what is the upgrade sequence, and we should know, like I was telling about N-2, what is the upgrade compatibility. And yeah, in this video I'll be walk you through how to perform upgrade through UI installer. So I've provided all those document links here. I'll be providing the same in the video description also. And on the right hand side, if you see, basically if you wanted to upgrade your vSphere, first you should prepare for the upgrade, that is to verify hardware compatibility and what are the ESX that are incompatible and what is the license do you have, whether that really supports the next version or not. And ESX compatibility, let us say, is also n-2, and let's say if you are upgrading to 7.0, you should not have any ESXi that is running on 6.0. That's an example. And then while you have to perform the upgrade, before start of upgrade, you should make sure that you have the necessary backup. Either you go with a snapshot or you can go with the traditional backup that you wanted, or vCenter server has a backup and restore facility, so you can take a backup of file backup. And once your ESX your VC is upgraded, then you should plan for ESX upgrade. And yeah, eventually you can plan for infrastructure related upgrades also. Quickly move on to what are the best practices before we upgrade. Yeah, VMware has published a KB which talks about what are the best practices in 7.4 upgrade for if you wanted to upgrade to 7.4. So basically, it says that upgrade to vSphere is are only possible from 6.5 to 6.5 or 6.7, which I was talking about, n minus 2. Yeah, similarly, it's saying that which are not supported. If you see the 6.4 vSphere or lower versions are not supported, distributed switches which are lower than 6.4 are not supported, and ESXi which are host profiles that are based out of ESXi version 6.4 are not supported. And from in 7.4, the default TLS version is 1.2, and 1.1 and 1.4 are disabled by default. And the other thing is, Flash based vSphere client has been deprecated and no longer available from 7.4. A few of the upgrade best practices saying that you should have a NTP configured properly, you should have DNS forward and reverse lookup successfully, you should take concurrent power of snapshot, which is much more required here. Let's say if you are upgrading from 6.7 U2 or U3 to 7.0, you must disable TSO and GSO on the appliance Ethernet adapter configuration before you start off your upgrade. So as you're aware, from 7.2, the external PSA deployment is not supported. It means that external deployment of PSC. So basically, let's say you have a 6.7 with the external PSC, means the PSC running on one appliance and VC applying on the other appliance. It's called M cross N topology, where M is a management and N is a node. One second, which is supported till 6.7, but from 7.4 you cannot have M cross N topology. You will have everything in one appliance. So what happens when you have it in VC with external PSN 6.7? So what happens is when you try to upgrade to 7.4, your PSC get converged into the same appliance in the 7.2, and all your PSC entries gets copied to the VC appliance in 7.2, and upgrade gets successfully completed. Post upgrade, you should decommission your PSC. This is only extra step. But in this video, we will not discuss much on that because we are trying to upgrade a vCenter server with embedded platform service controller. So here is an KB that is been published by VMware on how you can plan your infrastructure upgrades to 7.0. So this is upgrade supported update sequence. So you can see if you have this, they actually give the numbering accordingly, which has to be performed first, which has to be second, and accordingly. So here first you should upgrade a VRS LCM and VRLI, and VRLI and VROps can be upgraded at the same time, and the VRNI. VRA has got the fourth. Similarly, if you see vCenter server is on eighth, and then you should go for ESXi. Always probably you should do the same. First vCenter server should be upgraded, then the ESXi should be upgraded. And VMware tools, the hardware version, and vSAN and VMware, which is part of the vCenter server. So here is an upgrade compatibility path to see whether it is supported. And now I'm on the 6.7 GA. And let's see if that is supported for 7.4. Yes, you see 7.4 it has a tick mark. It means that I can upgrade to 7.4. And this is a document I was talking about how to perform upgrade through UI installer. You have everything step by step. Here is my vCenter server, which is running on 6.7. Let me just show you that the 6.7, and it has got a basic inventory of data center, cluster, and ESX inside that. And we will try to perform upgrade through UI. So prior to this, I've downloaded the 7.0 GA build and extracted it, and I'll quickly go into the extracted folder. So I've opened the extracted folder, and I'll go into UI installer, and I'm using a Windows machine, so I'll go with Win32. And in this, you have the installer. Click on it and it has opened. Now I'll click on upgrade because I'm trying to upgrade. I'll click on the next button, EULA. I accept the EULA. Next one. And here we should provide your vCenter server IP. Let me provide my vCenter server IP and click on the connect to source. Trying to connect the source. And yeah, here we should provide what is the access for password and what is the appliance password, on which vCenter server or on ESXi it is residing on, and the credentials for that. And in this page, we should provide what is the VC or the ESX IP on which the new appliance should be deployed. Usually, we give it on the same ESX on which your current VC is residing. But if you have the same network that is shared across any other ESXis, you can provide those details, or other VC you can provide it. You can deploy at the cluster level also. Here we should provide what is the name that we wanted to specify. So I'll go with VCSA VC graded 7.4, and we should provide what is the new password. In deployment size where you should select what kind of deployment you wanted. I'll go with the tiny, but you do have an options of small, medium, large, X large, everything. You can select according to your infrastructure requirement. So let's say since I selected tiny, it has uh, highlighted the tiny line, and I'll go with select medium. Now you see the medium. So whatever you select here it gets highlighted over there, and there is something else storage options where you can select if let's say your infrastructure size is going to be only medium, but you have a lot of storage that you see that is being added to that. Then what you can do is the default storage that we get it part of the medium is 700 GB. But if you wanted more, you can select large, it becomes 1700 GB. But if you feel the 1700 GB is not enough for your future requirement, then you can go and select 3460, which is extra large. So you can select it, you can scale it, but I'll go with tiny as of now. Click on next. I'll select the data store, enable thin disk mode. Here we need to provide the temporary IP details, whether what do you want to specify, whether you want to specify static DHCP or whatever it is. So here I'll provide the temporary IP, subnet, gateway, and DNS server details. I provided the temporary IP and clicked on the finish, and it's trying to deploy the OVF. OVF deployment has started and it just completed 2%. We'll wait for it to complete 100%. So just to add a point here, the UI installer is of two stages, stage 1 and stage 2. Now we are in progress to complete the stage 1 and we'll start with stage 2 once the OF deployment is successful. OF deployment is successful and click on continue, and this is the IP it has got. So let's say if you don't want to continue stage 2 right now, you can anytime you can come back and access this URL from the browser, and you should be able to continue your upgrade in the stage 2. So as of now, I'll go with the installer, click on continue. So on the first introduction page, it gives you all the information. It says you're on the stage 2. Click on next. It is running pre-check upgrades, pre-upgrade checks. Pre-upgrade checks got completed successfully and gives me a couple of warnings here. One is it says my ESXi is managed by the same VC, and the next one it says that couple of files from update manager will not be copied from the source. Those are like VM guest host, patch baseline, host, upgrade baseline, and files. So once you're fine, you can click on the close. Here you can select the upgrade data, what you wanted to. You wanted to migrate all the inventory, configuration, task and events. Then you can select the second option if you wanted to migrate configuration, inventory, task, events, and performance metrics. Then you can go with it. So the size of second and third is almost similar, which is 1.97 GB. But if you wanted to migrate only the configuration inventory, it's 1.85 GB and it takes 33 minutes downtime. And yeah, obviously the second and third takes more than 33 minutes. So as of now, I'll go with the configuration inventory and estimated downtime here. CAP join. I'll select this to join to CAP and click on next. And finally, it shows me what is my temporary IP and what is my source IP and everything. And you have to check mark this box to make sure that you take a backup before you start up upgrade. And now the actual upgrade starts. So they gives you you want kind of warning message that you have to take a backup. So you're accepting it and click on finish. If you haven't taken a backup by now, yes, you should take right now, and I'll click on OK. Upgrade has been initiated. Yeah, the actual upgrade has started, and you see it has of three stages. One is copying data, exporting from source, and then the second stage is starting all the services, which is the first boot, and the first time all the services get started, so we call it first boot. Next one is importing data from the target, which we getting all the data from the vCenter server from the source. So if you see the export stage is completed, first boot is completed, and import is 50% complete. Is now importing the vSphere web client data and wait for it to complete. The upgrade is completed successfully and gives you a couple of messages. It says that Tailors 1.0 and 1.1 are disabled, and it has an KB for the reference, and also about the auto deploy. So if you're using the auto deploy, you need to update the DHCP settings and the TFTP settings with the new set of TRAM files. So if you see here, it is successfully completed, and it says that this is UV Center server IP, and everything, all the three is completed. So with this, we are completed a vCenter server upgrade. I'll quickly log into the vCenter server and see what is the version that is showing in my vCenter server. I'll click on this link and click on launch HTML. Provide the SSO credentials and login. If you see in the previous screen, you don't see the Flex client, you see only the HTML client. So whatever that was told, the Flex client is deprecated, so you don't see anything. I logged into vCenter server and you can see the version is 7.2. With this, we are done with an upgrade of our vCenter server with external with an embedded platform service controller from 6.7 to 7.4. Thank you.